That sounds outrageous that Reliance Standard denied this claim. It's not unusual from other Reliance Standard denials that we've seen throughout the years, but what is positive and hopefully motivating for other claimants that are watching this video is that it is possible to win these appeals. You know, we win them all the time, and it really came down to you as an attorney understanding what are the relevant facts that I need to highlight and get in front of the appeal specialist that's reviewing this claim at Reliance Standard, because from you handling thousands of these claims, you know exactly what Reliance Standard needs in order to overturn a denial. Hi, I'm Greg Dell here with attorney Alexander Palomara. And Alex, we're going to have the privilege to talk about one of your cases that you recently resolved against Reliance Standard. And in this video, we'd love for you to tell us about why the person was denied, how you helped them, and then we want to provide some tips for people to be able to learn how they could get their Reliance Standard claim reversed, and also how they could work with our law firm to help them get through that process. So give us the background of this case.
So this guy came to me before he was denied. He kind of saw the writing on the wall. He was, well, a little bit of background. He was a respiratory therapist who worked for MedStar Health, was there for 17 years, enjoyed his career, obviously, enjoyed his employer, was well-respected, and, had a good job, good earnings. But unfortunately, he had a laundry list of things going on that only got worse throughout the years. I mean, you name it, he had it wrong with his body. He had knee issues, back issues, carpal tunnel, hip issues, shoulder issues, you name it, he had it. He was just physically falling apart. But fortunately for him, his employer provided him with disability insurance coverage, and that policy was with Reliance Standard. In early 2022, we had stopping work and filing a claim for benefits, and luckily Reliance Standard actually approved the claim, and they were paying him for almost 2 years. Now, at the 2-year mark, as most people might know if they peruse our policy, our website, or they know their policy, at the 2-year mark, a few things happen. And one of the things that happen is that there's typically a change in definition of disability, or if there's a mental health claim, the claim will be limited, because most mental health claims are limited to 2 years. So this guy knew that his 2-year limitation was coming up, and he knew that Reliance Standard was taking a good hard look at his claim because they did a few things. And one thing they did to him, they sent him to an independent medical examination. So he didn't have a copy of the report of the IME, the independent medical examination, but he reached out to us knowing, hey, listen, they just sent me to an IME. I didn't like how it went down. I didn't feel good about this guy, this doctor. The guy didn't know me from anybody. He barely spent any time with me. I feel like they're going to deny my claim. So he called me. And there's probably about, I think the change in definition of disability was going to be in August of 2024, August of this year. And he called me in May saying, I don't feel good about this. What do I do? And I said, listen, what you should do right now is get updated medical records in there. Maybe think about going to a functional capacity evaluation. He took my advice. I wasn't even representing him, trying to give him ideas. He went and did his own functional capacity evaluation. He got it into the insurance company. His FCE report says this guy can't even do sedentary work. He has so many things wrong with him. But unfortunately, later on that month in May, Reliance Center went ahead and denied his claim. The good news for him is that they paid him through August. So he ended up hiring me later on in May, saying, Alex, you're nice to me. You helped me, give me some ideas to prevent this denial. Unfortunately, they went ahead and denied it anyways. And he hired me then to help him. So we had 3 months to work with to get his claim reinstated.
You really had 6 months, right? Because
6 months, 180 days to do the appeal, but he had 3 months of benefits so he was not, essentially out on the streets or without income. So he had 3 months of income, but we had a whole 180 days from the May, I think, 25th denial letter to work with to do the appeal. But he had 3 months of income, and I wanted to do the appeal as efficiently as possible, as we always do, because we know our clients are either running out of money or without money.
Right.
So, but in this scenario, it was kind of good because they denied him early because he had some income coming in for those final 3 months, even though they paid him in a lump sum.
And that was unusual that they did that, because a lot of times, unfortunately, they deny a claimant and say, your final check is coming, or you're supposed to get your check, but we decided 2 weeks ago that you're not disabled, and that's it. And then the person has no income.
I mean, oftentimes they pull the rug right under my client's feet, or not my future client's feet. They have no idea it's coming. So these people are living on 60% of their prior earnings, if that, and now they have no income out of nowhere.
All right.
So it's like talking a rock and a hard place. It's like the worst thing ever. It's a shock to half these people that call us, and it's sometimes the saddest thing. And that's why we work quickly to get our clients back on claim, but we can't sacrifice quality for speed, because you sometimes only have one bite of the apple to do this appeal. It has to be done right. But in this scenario, it was kind of unique, is that A lot of times we have to sit there and get a lot of medical records, do our own functional capacity evaluation. But since I already gave them those ideas previously, a lot of the groundwork was already done. In this scenario, I didn't do that. It was already done. I said, I got a copy of the FCE that he wanted and set up himself, and I got a copy of the report. I said, this thing is great. I got updated medical records. Medical records are strong. I reached out to his doctors to drum up more support in attending physician statement. Doctors were more than willing to be supportive, and I put together an appeal, a very quick appeal. I mean, so quick that the claim has already been overturned, and we're later in 2024 this time. But he had to go an additional 2 months without benefits, but the claim was ultimately overturned, and he's back on claim as of today's date.
The way in which this claim was really won was from the additional medical evidence. But what's weird in the fact pattern that you're giving us is that he submitted this information previously to the carrier. So what was different once he got you as his lawyer involved that you were able to convince Reliance Standard that our client remained totally disabled?
Yeah, my appeal was strictly arguments. They already had all the medical evidence. So only different was I got additional support from the doctors, but the doctors are already supportive. But what I went in there and did is I got a copy of that independent medical examination report. And I looked at it and I said, something is not adding up here. And I was able to find inconsistencies between the medical records and what that doctor was writing on that report. Like the doctor, their IME doctor, who basically spent, I don't know, I mean, I wasn't there, but a handful of minutes with them. And the report was kind of funny. It was like, the patient was able to bend over and pick up socks off the floor and able to put socks on. So this guy can do any occupation because he can put socks on, mind you. So you work 40 hours a week because he can put socks on. Like, who gives a darn, right? So that was one of the things that IME doctor pointed to. But then he said he could find manipulation, handle, and fingering all day. This guy has carpal tunnel syndrome, positive meal sign. And it's like, what records is this guy looking at? You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible for this guy to do this all day long. And then he said he can sit all day. And also, and we have the FCE report that says this guy cannot sit all day. He can sit maybe on an occasional basis, stand on an occasional basis. And again, like I said earlier, this guy had things everywhere wrong with his body. It wasn't just, he already had a previous lumbar spine surgery, a fusion, previous cervical spine fusion. He needed a 2D replacements, or did hip surgeries, shoulder. Like, this guy had issues everywhere. So it's like, I don't know what records this IMB doctor was looking at and what, basically the insurance company was ignoring so much here, but he gave me a lot of ammunition to overturn this denial.
Yeah, it sounds outrageous that Reliance Standard denied this claim. It's not unusual from other Reliance Standard denials that we've seen throughout the years, but what is positive and hopefully motivating for other claimants that are watching this video is that it is possible to win these appeals. We win them all the time, and it really came down to you as an attorney understanding what are the relevant facts that I need to highlight and get in front of the appeal specialist that's reviewing this claim at Reliance Standard. Because from you handling thousands of these claims, you know exactly what Reliance Standard needs in order to overturn a denial. Now, I'm not going to go on record and say that thankfully, Reliance Standard is going to deny every single claim and you're going to lose every single appeal. They don't do that. They actually do reverse them. We win them often. But you have to know what's important to put in front of Reliance Standard and what's not. And here, clearly, you did a great job of getting that to them. And once you submitted your appeal, how quickly were you able to get a decision back from Reliance?
It was about 45 days. Now, they have 45 days to give you an answer. Sometimes they have to take an extension of additional 45 days for various reasons. And they typically do take that extension. But in this scenario, they did not. I pointed out, obviously, the inconsistencies in the IME report. I pointed to the objective evidence of the MRIs, the orthopedic examinations, a series of them over the course of years that we had. So, I put the case in the best light possible. If they would have denied it, it would be hard to settle this lawsuit on our end because we probably would have gone forward on a motion for summary judgment because I felt so strongly about this case. And they ended up seeing the light in the end. The appeals department at Reliance Standard saw the light and said, this guy is disabled. And mind you, Social Security found him disabled too. So it's like, when I got the case from the client, I'm like, so Social Security found you disabled, your doctors are supportive, you have this FCE, you have everything wrong with you from head to toe. It's like, what is going on here? And just because they have an IME doctor who spent 6 minutes with you, says you can put on socks. Like, I don't care about you putting on socks. Like, congratulations. The great majority of our country can put on socks. Doesn't mean that they can work full-time 40 hours a week. That means nothing.
Well, congratulations on winning this one. Super happy for the client, obviously. And a a difficult case to win because very often, first of all, you don't see a lot of independent medical exams done prior to initial denial. You may see them pick them up on the appeal, and sometimes you see them beforehand. But a lot of times the disability companies are like, look, we did an independent exam. What else do you want from us? We couldn't be any more non-biased. We went out and did this, and this person saw the claimant in their current condition before we made a denial. It's more contemporaneous than any evidence you're going to get us after the fact, and that's what it is. So it's awesome that you were able to take that information and clarify it for them, and I'm really glad to hear that you found someone at Reliance who was in the appeal department who agreed with you and acted reasonably and said, yeah, you know what? That person got it wrong. We did the initial denial, and now we got it right, and now our client will continue to be paid continuously.
Right. Meeting an IME can be hard. Sometimes when I see a denial letter with an IME, I'm like, oh, geez, this is going to be a hard case to win. But if you look at it with a fine-tooth comb, sometimes you can find those inconsistencies and have a formula to win the case.
Great. If you're someone out there with a Reliance Standard claim, no matter where you live in the country, no matter what stage you're at with your claim, feel free to call Alex, call myself. We'll always provide you with a free consultation, and we look forward to the opportunity to discuss your claim with you.